Today I'm going to tell you how to use a technique called cell referencing to save you a lot of time in Microsoft Excel. All cell referencing is basically making one cell on a worksheet refer to another cell on that worksheet or somewhere else in your workbook. It's really easy. So first thing we'll do is make cell A1 refer to cell H1 on the same worksheet. The first thing you do is you select your cell and press the equal sign. You navigate over to the cell you want to reference and press enter. So now cell H1 is going to be referenced by cell A1, which means that any changes I make to cell H1 are going to be captured by cell A1. You'll see that I put in the word block on H1, and cell A1 now says block. What's really cool about this is that I can drag down, and now these cells are going to refer to cell H2 and H3 respectively. They did that because I created a relative reference, which is one of the two types of references you can do in Excel. A relative reference basically means that this cell is going to reference another cell relative to the cell referenced above. So cell A1 references cell H1. Cell A2 is going to reference cell H2 because it's told to do that relative to the cell reference that A1 made. Cell A3 is doing the same thing relative to cell A2. The other type of cell reference you can make is an absolute cell reference, where the cell will absolutely refer to a specific cell. I get there by pressing F4. So I did that, and $2 signs showed up. That means that my absolute reference is going to absolutely refer to the column H and cell 1. So I'll go ahead and press enter. I drag down, and you'll notice that cell A2 and cell A3 both reference cell H1 because they're absolutely supposed to do that with an absolute reference. I'll go ahead and clear it out. If you're feeling really fancy, you can go through and create a reference based on rows by pressing F4 again. So your absolute reference will only apply to that row. Press it again, the absolute reference will only apply to the column. Press F4 again, and you're going to go back to a relative reference. So like I said, you can reference cells anywhere on the worksheet or across the workbook, and that's what we're going to do right now. We're going to press Control Page down to go to the next tab, and here you see we have a table with lots of information. I'm going to create a table that has names, time on station, and PT scores using relative references. So I press Control Page up to go back to this cell. I press equals to start my formula. I press Control Page down again. I select cell A1 to start with. I press enter. And then I can drag down. And I've made a relative reference to the cells on this worksheet here. I drag across, and I've made relative references to those column headers. I can now select those column headers, double click, and just like that I've created the dashboard that tells me these three guys' time on station and their PT scores. What's great about this is I can go through and update it pretty easily. Let's say I don't care about time on station this week, I care about master's degree. So I press enter, Control Page down, select master's degree here. It's going to create another relative reference. And when I double click, these cells will now refer to the master's degree field instead of the time on station field. And just like that, I've used relative referencing to make a quick tracker that has the information I want from a larger table.